Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to do some questions from the Cognizant recruitment exam that was conducted this year for 2021 pass out batch. So, the exam pattern, if we talk about what is there in the Cognizant written online exam, it is basically two sections. One is a aptitude test, next is a essay writing competition. So, the essay writing is you will be given a topic and you'll have to write according to your views on that particular topic. The easier part is essay writing, whereas the other part, if we talk about the aptitude containing of logicals, verbals, and quants, is a little moderate level difficulty paper that would be given. If we give a analysis of overall difficulty of this year's paper, uh, it is somewhere from moderate to easy. The questions are not very difficult. The questions are not very easy. It's just that a lot of logic is being used in each question, and accordingly we have to solve all those questions. So today we're going to see those questions, what the question was. First question that had come up in the exam was, a store is selling a jacket on a sale at 30% off the mark price. Okay, now matching pair of pants is on sale at 50% off the mark price. If the mark price of pant is 11,600 less than the mark price of the jacket, total sale on both items is given. What is the mark price of the jacket? Okay, so let's assume that the marked price of jacket, let it be 100x, and marked price of pants, let it be 100y. Because anything if we take with respect to 100, the calculations become little easy. Other than just assuming it to be variables x and y, let's take it 100x and 100y. Now, as for the question, it is given the marked price difference is 11,600. So we're going to do 100x minus 100y is equals to 11,600. So x minus y becomes 116. This is the first equation. Now, second equation, we're going to form with respect to the mark price, because there is a sale and 30% off and 50% off respectively are given. So it becomes 7x plus 50y is, because the sale price is given to me as 14,600, 70x plus 50y is 14,600. So 7x plus 5y becomes 1460. This is the second equation that we have. So two equations, two variables, we can easily solve them. So I would prefer putting the first equation in the second equation. So 7x plus, instead of y, I'm putting 116 plus y equals to 1460. On solving, we get value of x. From here, when we solve it, a value of x comes out to be 170. What is asked? What is the mark price of the jacket? I just needed the value of x. So x is here, marked price of my jacket comes out to be 100x, that is 100 into 170. My answer is rupees 171230. Answer option A. Next question. Solid wooden toy is in the shape of a right circular cone mounted on a hemisphere. Okay. Such that the circular base of the cone rests on the flat circular area of the hemisphere. Okay. Radius of the hemisphere is equal to the radius of the circular base. Then only it will be a full toy. Otherwise, it will not be a full toy. Radius is given, height is given. Find the volume of the wooden toy. What is going to be the volume? In nearest integer, we have to find. All right. If we draw the diagram with respect to the details given in the question, so this is the hemisphere on which the cone is mounted. Cone is a right circular cone. So this is how the cone would be. Now, diameter is given to me. Radius of both of them is same. Uh, Radius is given to me as 4.2. So this is also 4.2. This is also 4.2. Height of the toy, total height of the toy is mentioned. Total height of the toy, that means from the top to bottom, this whole thing is 10.2 centimeters. That is given to us. Okay, total height is mentioned, radius is mentioned. So if we talk about height of the cone, height of the cone becomes 10.2 minus 4.2, because this portion needs to be excluded, this particular portion, and it is going to be equal to the radius, becomes 6 centimeters. So height of the cone is known now. Radius is known to me. Radius for the hemisphere is also known. All I have to find is volume of the toy. So volume of my toy is going to be volume of the cone plus volume of the hemisphere. So when I will add all these two volumes, I'll get the overall volume. So volume of cone, it's 1 by 3 pi r square h. Volume of hemisphere, 2 by 3 pi r cube. Okay, now 1 by 3 pi 22 by 7. Let's use 22 by 7 so that if there is any possibility, things can get cancelled out. Radius is 4.2 into 4.2 into height is 6 plus 2 by 3 into again 22 by 7 into 4.2 into 4.2 into 4.2. All these values, when it is calculated, it comes out to be approximately 155.232 plus 110.88. Approximate value comes out to be 266. So it's closest to 266. My answer is option A. When you will add it, this is 255. This is approximately 265 point something. I can round it off to 266. My answer is option A. Next question. A box has 13 white chips, 7 blue chips, and 6 green chips. Probability that two chips are drawn from the box in succession. One is blue and the other is white. Okay, successive drawing is done. So probability for picking two chips, one blue and one white. Alright, so probability of picking two chips, one blue and one white. First becomes 13C1 because our first is one blue and one white. So let's pick out one white first. So out of 13, I have to pick one. That becomes 13C1 divided by 26 because total number of chips is 13 plus 7, 20. 20 plus 6 is 26. Into, if I pick out one blue, so picking one blue out of 7 is 7C1 divided by, now one chip is already drawn out, so this becomes divided by 25. Now it does not matter if I pick up the blue first or if I pick up the white first because these values, they're almost going to remain the same. Picking out one chip out of 13, white is always 13C1. Picking out one chip out of 7, blue is going to be 7C1. If I pick out first the white one, it would have been 13C1 divided by 26 into 7C1 divided by 25. If I picked out blue first, it would have been 7C1 divided by 26 into 31C1 divided by 25. No difference. Same multiplication I'll be getting in both the cases. And since it is succession, it is first and second pick. Both of them have to be multiplied together. On solving, comes out to be 7 by 50. My answer is option C, 7 by 50. Next, in this question, A arrow B means A raised to power B. What is the remainder when 48 raised to power 565 is divided by 7? Okay, so we need to have the remainder. Then when 48 565 is divided by 7. I'm going to write this as 49 minus 1 raised to power 565 divided by 7. Okay. Now, applying the negative remainder case. Let's apply the negative remainder case because if it is 49 raised to power something, this is obviously not going to give any remainder. This becomes 0. So I'll be getting the remainder where it is minus 1 raised to power 565 divided by 7. I know. Like minus 1 raised to power anything is minus 1 only. If it is odd, it is minus 1. If it is even power, it would have been 1. But here it is odd, becomes minus 1. So basically, I need remainder of minus 1 while it is 7. So actually, remainder is minus 1, but I don't have negative remainder. So this becomes 7 minus 1. My remainder is 6. Because negative remainder are not considered, I'll have to add the divisor to it and get the positive remainder. Answer is C. Next, what is the highest power of 91 that divides 78 factorial? There are many kind of questions that come in this range. They ask questions like what will be number of zeros in 100 factorial or number of 15s in 200 factorial. Anything of this sort can be asked. So same method can be used for all the type of questions. Okay. First, highest power of 91 that divides 78 factorial is how many 91 are there in 78 factorial? This is what is being asked. Okay. 91, first step, I'm going to do the prime factorization of 91. So 91 is 13 7 times 91. All right. What I'm going to do is let's pick up the number that needs to be divided. So divided number that needs to go is 78 factorial. I'll just pick up 78 from here. Now, I'm going to divide 78 by 1, one time by 13, and one time I'll divide 78 by 7. Now, why am I doing this? When I will divide 30, I'll just consider the divisors when I'm going to divide them. So 13, if I divide by 78, I get 13, 6 times 78, and on the other side, I'm going to write down the remainder. So here are going to be all the quotients, other side it is going to be the remainder. Now, 13, again, I will divide until I get a 0 at the end. So 13, if I divide by 6, if 6 is divided by 13, I get a quotient as 0 and remainder as 6. This is where I'll have to stop. Now, after this step, this remainder, it is discarded. I don't need the remainder, I just need the quotient. So what I mean by this is, if I'm doing 78 factorials, I'll be having 6 13s in it. If I have 78 factorial, I'll be having 6 13s in it. Now, similar process let's do for 78 and divide by 7. 7 becomes 11, 11 times 7 times 77, remainder 1, writing on the other side. 7, 7 1 times, remainder 4, writing on the other side. 7 0 times, remainder 1, writing on the other side. Now, here I have different values. I have 11 also, I have 1 also. So what I have to do is I'll have to add the numbers. First, remainder is discarded. Add all the quotients other than the number that is being divided. So 11 plus 1, 12. What it means is in 78 factorial, I have 12 sevens. In 78 factorial, I have 12 sevens. This is the meaning. Now, one thing has to be clear. If I need to form a 91, I need 113 and 17. I need to have 113 and 17. So out of the number that I'm forming, whichever is least, that is picked, or that many pairs will be formed. Whichever is least, that many pairs are going to be formed. So if it is 6 that is least, that is 13. If there are less 13, so that many accordingly equal number of sevens I'm going to pick out. So if I have 6 13s, I'm going to pick out only 6 sevens. So that 91, how many 91 are formed? 6 91s would be formed. My answer is C, 6. Next, drink more coffee is a coffee shop with a particular scheme. Okay. Shop keeps a weekly tally for each customer's first coffee, and first coffee cost is given to me, second coffee cost is given, third is given, and so on. The cost decreases by 4.5 until the price reaches 4.5. Okay. Remaining coffees that week are free for the customer. Okay. So it's like coffee is forming a AP, a decreasing AP. Miss Coffee Priya is a coffee lover. In a 2 week period, she consumed a total of 15 coffees at this shop. She paid a total of triple three for the coffees she drank during the 2 weeks. How many free coffees did she get during this week period? Okay, so we have to find the number of free coffees that the person got. Okay, so like we have figured out, it is a AP, so it's 40 plus 40.5 plus 36, and it goes on to until the last coffee it is given, it is rupees 4.5. This is equal to the sum. Okay, now I need to find the sum of how much she had to pay until it has reached 4.5. So this becomes n into a plus L by 2. This is the sum of a GP. This is the sum of a AP. Number of terms into A plus L divided by 2. Number of terms is 10 because it is 10 until 10 terms it will be carried out. So 10 by 2 into A, first term is 45 plus 4.5. From here, how much she paid was rupees 247.5. Now, rupees 247.5, for this much, she had coffee in the first week. Now, coffee purchased in first week plus coffee purchased in second week is equals to rupees triple three as given in the question. Okay, now coffee purchased in second week. Just if I talk about it is triple three minus 247.5. When we do this, comes out to be 85.5. Now, if I look at the sequence, how the sequence was following up, 85.5 is actually 45 plus 40.5. That is two coffees. Two coffees, 80. 5.5 can be written as 45 plus 40.5. So she has paid for these 10 coffees that she had in the first week plus these two coffees that she had in the second week. So total paid coffees become 12, and it is said that she had 15 coffees. So how many coffees did she get for free? She got 3 coffees that were free in that particular week. Okay. Now, next question. According to the stock policy of a company, each employee in the technical division is given 15 shares of the company. Each employee in the recruitment division is given 10 shares. Okay, now employee belonging to both communities get 25 shares each. There are 20 employees in the company and each one belongs to at least one division. Cost of each share is rupees 10. If the technical division has 15 employees and recruitment division has 10 employees, then what is the total cost of shares given by the company? Okay, now let's see, let's try to do this using first some Venn diagrams. Okay, so 50 technical, it is said there are 15, then recruitment there are 10. So let's say those who are there in both the sections, let it be x. So this becomes 15 minus x, this becomes 10 minus x. Okay, now next thing. Here this portion is x is those who are there in both of them. Okay, now I'm going to use A union B and A intersection B. A union B is equals to A plus B plus A intersection B. Let's take one of them as A, technical as A, recruitment as B. So A union B, that is employees that are there in both the companies. So total, and it is said that in the company there are 20 employees. So A union B is actually total number of employees. 20 is equals to A plus B, 15 plus 10 plus A intersection, this is minus A intersection B. So A intersection B comes out to be 5. That is number of employees that are there in both the recruitment and technical division are 5 employees. Now, after this, we're going to form the whole graph accordingly and try to get the answer. Okay, so it's 5 are there here. There are total technical division has 15. Now, recruitment has 10. Purely for recruitment are 5, purely for technical are 10. This is the graph, the Venn diagram that comes out. So employees belonging to technical only is 10, employees belonging to recruitment only is 5, those who belong to both of them is 5. Now let's look at the cost of the share. So employees belonging to technical only becomes 10. Number of shares becomes 10 into 15, that is 150 shares. So employees belonging to recruitment only, it's 5. Number of shares becomes 5 into 10, that is 50. Okay, this is the number of shares. Employees belonging to both the community, it's 5. Number of shares equals 5 into 25, because it is mentioned in the question, if you are in both the communities, you'll be getting 25 shares, becomes 125. Okay, now total share of the company, total shares becomes addition of all of these shares, 150, 50 and 125. So total number of shares becomes 325. Total cost, it is given in the question that each share is for 10 rupees. Total cost becomes 325 into 10, that is 3250 rupees. Option C is my answer. Next question. A petrol tank is already two-thirds filled. Okay, when 8 liters is added to it, it is filled by 5 by 6 of the tank. Find the tank capacity. Okay, let the capacity of the tank be x. Then it is given 2x by third, 2 by 3x it is filled. And 8 liters if we add to it. it becomes 5 by 6th of the capacity. Just one equation, one variable. When we will solve this, when we solve this, this becomes 4x by 6 plus 8 is equals to 5x by 6. So x by 6 becomes 8. My value of x comes out to be 48 liters. That is capacity of the tank comes out to be 48 liters. Answer is C. Next question. 2481 is equals to plus minus 1, plus minus 2, plus minus 3 and so on up to plus minus n. Find the minimum value of n. Okay, now sum of the G of the AP is given as 2481. First term is 1, common difference is also 1. We have to consider the positive values since negative values or alternate positive negative values will not give the sum as 2481. Only positive values need to be considered. If we are taking negative values or alternate positive values and negative values, sum would not be obtained. So all the positives would be considered. Now, simply 2481 becomes n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Using the formula for sum of a AP, 2481 becomes n by 2, putting the value 2a2 plus n minus 1 simply. So this becomes, when we will solve this, this becomes 4962 equals to n into n plus 1. Solving this quadratic, n square plus n minus 4962 equals to 0. We get the value of n as 69.94. Approximately, I can say value of n is 70. Value of n approximately comes out to be 70. My answer is option C. Next question. The question that follows, area of triangle ABC is given as 40 centimeters square. PB is given one third of AB. QC is given one fourth of AC. We need to find the area of triangle PQC. Okay. Now, if a triangle is given, it's being fragmented with a line. So we're going to look at some concept first. If it is a triangle, let's say triangle is ABC and it is fragmented by a line. The line is this PQ only, and it is fragmented as x is to y and k is to m. Other side, because QC is also given and it is a part of AC, some ratio is given, PB is also given in part of some ratios. Okay, so if it is fragmented as x y k m sides of a triangle, then the figure is as shown. Area of triangle APQ, area of triangle APQ will be equal to x upon x plus y into k upon k plus m into area of triangle ABC. Area of triangle APQ will be equal to x upon x plus y into k upon k plus m into area of triangle ABC. This is how we would get the area of first triangle ABC. Now, talking about a vertical cut, if there is a vertical cut, let's again draw a triangle. This is first concept. The second concept is, if there is triangle ABC and there is a line D and it divides it in the ratio x is to y. Now, if a triangle is given fragmented with a line x is to y on the base, then area of triangle ABD is equals to x upon x plus y into area of triangle ABC. Area of triangle ABD will be equal to x upon x plus y into area of triangle ABC. From the given equation, from the questions that is given to us, PB upon AB is given to us as 1 by 3. So AP, the portion AP, it is going to be equal to 3 minus 1, that is equals to 2. So let's just consider it in terms of 1 unit and 3 units only. So whatever, even if we are taking it in terms of ratios, 1x and 3x, so let's not go into variables. Directly AP, I can say it is equal to 2 units. Again, another thing that is given is QC upon AC equals to 1 by 4. So from here, AQ is equal to 4 minus 1, that is 3 units. Okay, now Let's apply all the concept that is known to us. Some concept were known to us. Let's apply all those concepts. So area of triangle PQC is equals to 1/4 into 1/3 into 2 by 3 into 40. So area of triangle PQC, what we were supposed to find, this particular area, it's equals to 1 by 4 into 2 by 3 into 40. So this comes out to be 20 by 3. So since we need to find the bottom area, we will start from the lower end value. I can even name some values here. QC we can take as 1 because we have just found it to be 1. AC total it is given was 4. AQ comes out to be 3. Similarly, on this other side it was 1 and this was 2. Okay, so area of triangle PQC becomes 20 by 3. From the options, we can see it is option A, 20 by 3.